Your body has changed. You can't wear the clothes that you want to anymore. Your mind is changed. Maybe you're losing your mind. And there's a load of stuff happening because you've gained weight during menopause. Hello fam, and welcome to my channel. My name's Melissa Neal, and this channel is all about helping you, if you're a woman over 40 or like me over 50, get in fabulous shape. And the biggest thing that's preventing us at this stage of life is menopause. Maybe it's perimenopause, maybe you're in menopause, maybe like me, you're post-menopause. All of those factors are going to play into your body shape. Unfortunately, we've been dealt a really tough hand, and I'm on Facebook groups actually, and I remain pretty incognito on those Facebook groups because I don't want people to think that I'm promoting myself, so I just watch and listen and read. And one of the things that comes up time and again is like, help, I've gained weight, I don't know what to do about it, and I'm at my wit's end. If that's you, this video is for you, and I'm going to talk to you about why it's happening. First of all, why it's happening, what happened to me personally, because it really impacted on me personally. And right at the end, watch right until the end, because you're going to find out what you can do about it, and you can take part in something really special that I've made for women at this stage in life. Did you know that you're going to spend 40% of your life in perimenopause, menopause or postmenopause? That's a significant chunk of your life, isn't it? 40%. We don't want to just accept it and be waiting to die. Maybe like your parents did. I know, with my mother's generation, it was kind of like you give up on everything, don't you? You give up on doing anything sporty, wearing swimwear or kind of looking good in swimwear, for example, and you kind of give up. There's certain things that you're just not expected to do because let's face it, maybe a century ago, women didn't live much past 40, and so things have changed. We want a life that's amazing. We've got like a fair bit of our life in front of us once we hit it over the age of 40, and we want to be able to enjoy it, and menopause is the thing that kind of gets in the way of it. And so we want to kind of hack menopause, don't we? We want to have a rich and fulfilling life. We still want to look good, don't we? We don't want to kind of be resigned to like, we can't look any good anymore. But the fact of the matter is, if you're anything like me, so I'll tell you a story about me, you're not going to feel that good about yourself. So, once I hit my mid-40s, I didn't feel that good about myself because I didn't look that good. I'd gained a ton of weight. I couldn't really work out why because no one was telling me why. My lifestyle was pretty much the same as it was in my 20s and 30s, but I was just like piling on the pounds, and at the same time I was kind of going through marriage breakdown and divorce, and I put it down to like my body shape, how I was, what I looked like. I kind of internalized everything and thought that it was my fault. I actually didn't believe I experienced any menopause symptoms, and looking back on it now, I now know that I did, because number one, what is the biggest menopause symptom, or one of the biggest? It's weight gain. I was also suffering really hugely from anxiety, but didn't connect the dots until much later. Now I've connected the dots and thought, I was kind of shouting a lot at my kids, really angry all the time, suffering from huge anxiety and mood swings. Didn't know because, my periods were not going to stop until about age 53 or 54. But just because your periods are still going, it doesn't mean that you're not experiencing something called perimenopause, which is exactly what I was experiencing. I felt terrible. I thought it was over the hill. I just couldn't, try as I might, kind of lose this weight. And so, I was trying things like fasting and actually leaning into really extreme fasting ultimately, because that wasn't just sort of 16/8 fasting wasn't working particularly well. So I was like extreme fasting. I was like running tons, and what happened? Yes, I lost weight, but I kind of lost it in all the wrong places, because losing weight is very different from losing fat, two different things. And so if you're doing lots of extreme things, and maybe you're in menopause, maybe your doctor's actually even told you, you got to eat less. It's actually not the case. You shouldn't go on extremely low calories, like of 1,000 calories a day and that kind of thing. And extreme fasting, it's actually not going to do you any favors, because your metabolism has already taken a nosedive. I'm going to talk about this. So maybe you're doing that. Try as you might. You're fasting, you're juicing, you're dieting, you're doing tons of exercise, and the needle is just not moving. Well, would you believe it? That is totally common. It's probably the experience that most women go through. Let me know in the comments, is that something you've been through? I know I certainly did. Doing tons of stuff, more extreme than I've ever done in my entire life, and the needle was not moving, or if it started to move, I still didn't really get in the shape that I desired. So why is this happening? Right, I'm going to go into the reasons. Number one, your hormones are depleting. So even if you haven't hit menopause like me, when I was in my mid-30s, your hormones are going to be either depleting or they're going to be out of whack. Either way, it's going to affect your metabolism. So estrogen, when our body is trying to produce more estrogen, what happens is your body's going to store more fat, and typically it's going to sit around your midsection. So where your fat storage goes is different. So when you're younger, your fat storage tends to go on your hips and your butt, your kind of lower body, maybe your thighs. As you get older, the fat storage is going to go around your midsection, which is actually a little bit more dangerous when we think about our heart health and our long-term health. The other thing that's happening is your muscles are depleting. You're losing muscle at a rate of 1%, just under 1% per year once you hit the age of 40. And what does muscle do? Muscle actually helps your body burn more calories. Muscle keeps your metabolism going. So when you lose muscle, you lose your metabolism. The third thing that's happening is fatigue. So not quite at the start of my menopause and perimenopause did I experience extreme fatigue, but when I was nearing the stage of my menstrual cycle stopping, fatigue kicked in massively. That can impact on your motivation, because if you're extremely tired, it's quite difficult, isn't it, to have the get up and go to actually exercise. But if you do exercise, what's going to happen is it actually helps with your fatigue. So it is really important to keep some sort of exercise going, but you cannot work out like you did in your 20s. You can't do that anymore. I can't do that. You do need to take rest days. As you get older, you're going to have gut health issues. You're going to find you're not digesting food as well. You're going to have bloating. Your body's going to respond to certain types of food, inflammatory foods, not well. So things like ultra-processed foods, that's going to be a massive problem. Another thing that's changing is you're finding it more difficult to get sleep, but you kind of need rest and sleep. So it's like a double-edged sword. You can't get enough sleep, and it's one of the first signs of menopause, but getting more sleep is actually going to help your body control fat storage much better. So we've gone into quite a lot of detail there about why is this happening. Hopefully you found that helpful. Do comment below, because I know when I was going through some of these things, no one told me this. This is why I started up this channel. because I thought, there's actually a biological, medical reason we're gaining weight and why we need to do things differently, but nobody tells you this. And so that's why I started this channel, because it was like, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about how our bodies are changing. I want to talk about, some of it feels really crappy, doesn't it? But it should be, you should be having a better time of it, because there are lots of benefits to being older. Being older means you're going to be wiser. Being older means you're more comfortable in your own skin often. Being older means you don't have to pretend anymore. You kind of say what you think, don't you? And being older often means a little bit more financial freedom and being able to do the things that you want to do. But if you're going through a time where you feel you're physically not able, or you don't feel confident because you don't have the body shape, then all of these sort of benefits turn into something a little bit pointless, don't they? So let's just talk about what to stop doing. I've done these things. So number one, either stop or hugely cut back on drinking alcohol. Drinking alcohol was a huge nemesis for me because I used to drink a lot of it. It wasn't doing my body any favours once I hit my mid-40s, maybe even my early 40s. Your body doesn't respond well to it. You can find you have more inflammation in your body by drinking alcohol. Did you know, this is actually scientifically proven, that your body doesn't tolerate alcohol as well as you get older? So it means like you're going to get drunk more easily and you can't handle your alcohol as well. Maybe you have the mother of all hangovers that you never had before. So it's a surefire sign that you need to cut back, because believe you me, it's not going to help with your midsection. And in fact, just by sort of quitting alcohol, you can find you really notice a difference in your body fat and particularly your midsection. The other thing to cut way back on is refined sugar and processed foods. They are going to wreak havoc with your hormones. You're going to find at this stage in life you're more insulin resistant. And what does that mean? It's when your body cannot control your blood sugar levels. And there's organisations like Zoe that are hugely popular. They've actually done studies on this, and they found that women at this stage in life, we cannot consume, say, something like a donut. And because our body responds in a completely different way to a young person. So we can't consume a donut and kind of get away with it, because it's going to cause a huge blood sugar spike and it's going to cause inflammation in our bodies. So ultra processed foods and sugar, we want to be cutting back on that. The other one is caffeine. Caffeine, yes, in small amounts, 1 cup of coffee in the morning perhaps, fine, but we don't want to be consuming it all day long. You don't want to be like more than 3 cups a day. You certainly, after a certain time in the afternoon, maybe 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you don't want to be consuming it, because it's going to disrupt your sleep. It's going to raise your cortisol levels, and they're going to wreak havoc with your hormones. So cut back on those things, and believe you me, you're going to not only look a lot better, you're going to feel a lot better. So let's talk about what you should be eating. So phytoestrogens are really good for addressing estrogen levels dropping, and it's something that they do in Japan and in other Asian cultures. They have things like tofu and tempeh, and they actually find women don't experience the menopause symptoms like we experience in the Western world, and it's connected with phytoestrogens. So do try to incorporate soy. And I know soy gets a bit of a bad rap, because when you're younger, if you're estrogen dominant, yes, you want to be avoiding soy, but if your estrogen levels are depleting, it's a good idea to get that in. Then you want to get your protein in, 1 gram of protein per pound in body weight. And I've made a video recently, I will link it at the end of this video, 10 ways to get your protein in. So, you know, it is absolutely possible. It's going to boost that waning metabolism. It's going to support building and retaining muscle, which that's going to boost your metabolism. It takes your body longer to digest protein than it does carbohydrates and fats. So you're literally going to be burning calories by eating protein. You want to be getting in lots of plant-rich foods because we've talked about your digestion. But you know, you want to be getting in lots of plant-rich foods. That is going to help with your gut health and your microbiome. You want to get fermented foods in. So I did mention tempeh, that's one of them. But you know, there's loads of there's sauerkraut, there's kimchi, there's yogurt even, and yogurt's actually rich in protein as well. There's a drink called kombucha as well that's fermented. So look for fermented foods because they're really going to help with your gut microbiome, and that is actually contributing to weight gain as you get older and through the menopause. Lastly, I'm going to talk about how to exercise. So we talked about not having energy levels. Loss of muscle mass is massive. So quite simply, you want to be lifting weights. And you want to do that 3 or 4 times a week. Ideally, that is going to make an amazing difference. It will really improve what's called your body composition, especially if you pair that with high protein eating. You're going to find it really boosts your metabolism by lifting weights. You can do it at home. You can do it at the gym. I'm not going to say one's better than the other because it's where you can actually get it done that's important. I promised you at the start I was going to talk about a special offer that I'm doing for women over 40, and this offer is fantastic because you can actually win $20,000. Imagine that, to transform your body. And it's like a comprehensive program for 8 weeks, all inside my unique app, and it's called my 8-week transformation challenge, and it's specifically for women over 40. So you can't take part if you're under 40. It's only going to be women in this category. So you've got a level playing field of women that have got all the disadvantages that I've talked about in this video. And you know, even if you don't win, what you're going to win is the prize of an amazing transformation. Just like these women, I'm going to put pictures up of the women that have been through the program. It is really the most amazing program that we get fantastic results with the women. So I'm going to link it in the description. Do check that out and do sign up. And you know, if you've missed the sign up date, we're going to be running this regularly. So what you'll see, if you don't see, you know, an opportunity to actually buy the program, you can actually enter your email address and your name, and we will email you the next time the challenge is running.